And we are waiting for an update from Chris Grow outside the scene. Please give us one moment. All right, I'm just going to give you an update here. Give me 2 seconds. And if you are on abc15.com, you can see that the headline unfortunately now reads "Child Dies After Avondale Shooting." Officials are investigating now a deadly shooting involving a child in Avondale. The shooting happened on Wednesday morning near Central Avenue and Lower Buckeye Road. Avondale officials said the child, a 5-year-old boy, was in critical condition from an apparent gunshot wound. The child has since died from his injuries. Police are not looking for any suspects. If you've been watching with us for the last, half an hour, you saw the mother absolutely break down to, a family member or a friend. A male was holding her in his arms as she collapsed to the ground, absolutely devastated. And as soon as she completely fell to the ground, he got up, embraced somebody else. It's obviously a very tense and frustrating situation for this family right now, and we witnessed that here together. Obviously, our thoughts are with them, and I'm going to give you, here's another live look. I'm going to give you an update. Hopefully we'll have Chris Grow, who has found out some additional details from first responders or officers on the scene. But I'm sure he was there to witness that as well, and I'm sure he's heartbroken after seeing that just happen feet away from him.
Okay, is that my phone?
Yes, of course. Nope.
And again, this is a live look outside of that apartment complex in Avondale. This is near Central Avenue and Lower Buckeye Road. We have been bringing you this story for personally less than an hour. I have been here live streaming this with you. But when Chris Grow did his initial hit at 11 a.m., he talked about how active the scene was still and how many officers were still there. And you can see that right now, still that police presence is heavy as these officials try to figure out what happened to this little boy today, a 5-year-old boy who unfortunately has passed away from injuries suffered after being shot. So we are going to see, hopefully Chris has some additional details for us, but a very heartbreaking morning, very heartbreaking Wednesday morning for the Valley after this incident in Avondale.
Did you find it? Well, no, I just looked up in the truck. It's not in there. There it is.
You can see our own Chris Grow there gearing up to give us an update on this situation. He has been there for about half an hour. And he's gearing
Mic
up
check,
for
3,
his,
2, 1. I hear you
his
guys.
live
Mic
shot on
check.
our 11 a.m. television news broadcast. So if you're near a TV, feel free to turn on ABC 15 for additional details.
Reference, if you go that way, and then it gives me a wide open, and I'll be listening to you in the camera. So if you would talk about the house, I go to the house.
Okay.
If you talk about
The family.
over there, I go to the family.
Okay, I will move
But
this way.
I'm not going to be on IFB.
I'm gonna give you all the cues. Hey, you guys were just talking to me a second, but I'm hearing too much program. Okay, top of the half hour. Okay.
So if you want to go over there where they are and see if there's anything on this Iran tethered to this stupid truck, since we have, 15 minutes?
And if you're just joining us, officials investigating a deadly shooting involving a child in Avondale. The shooting happened on Wednesday morning near Central Avenue in Lower Buckeye. Avondale officials said the child, a 5-year-old boy, was in critical condition from an apparent gunshot wound. The child has since died from his injuries, and police are not looking for any suspects. A update from the police PIO: a 5-year-old juvenile has passed away from an apparent gunshot wound. At this time, it appears to be accidental and self-inflicted, but it is still early in the investigation. I will update you when more information is available. So the updates there is that it was self-inflicted and accidental. Horrible, horrible. And just an update, what we just received from the Phoenix Police Public Information Officer, a 5-year-old juvenile has passed away from an apparent gunshot wound. At this time, it appears to be accidental and self-inflicted, but it is still early in the investigation. I will update you when I have more information. So that's coming straight from Phoenix PD. And just to recap, officials are investigating a deadly shooting involving a child in Avondale, where we're located right now. This is an apartment near Central Avenue and Lower Buckeye Road in Avondale. It is a 5-year-old boy who was initially, we reported, was in critical condition. And unfortunately, he has since died from his injuries. And we heard early on that police were not looking for any suspects. And as you just heard, they officially said that they do believe it is accidental and self-inflicted. We're going to have an update from Chris Groh, who's live at the scene any moment now. And he's going to give us any additional details he's picked up from first responders or officers on the scene. His initial update was at 11 a.m. and he spoke and kind of showed how heavy the police presence was still there. And we imagine he's picked up some additional details from some of those individuals that are around the scene. So hopefully he'll have some of that information for you here shortly. And if you've been watching with us for the last 20 minutes, we have been on this scene for a while, and we caught the mother having a moment, having a heated exchange with, well, I'm assuming it's the mother. We caught an individual, a young female, having a very heated exchange with a young male. He was trying to hold her in his arms, and she was absolutely devastated and had collapsed to the ground sobbing. He could not hold her anymore. He kind of walked off. Another young man was very aggressively yelling. So that's the scene. That's what we have seen so far this morning in watching all of this unfold. Absolutely heartbreaking. And then it was shortly, within minutes after that, that we were informed that the child had passed. That is one of the investigators in the blue that we have seen throughout the morning. Looks like he was just talking to neighbors right there. We've seen a lot of neighbors come out looking like they are as devastated as we are by this incident. And again, police are saying that they do believe at this time that it was accidental and self-inflicted, but we've lost a 5-year-old baby boy today. For those of you asking in the comments, we are in Avondale at an apartment near Central Avenue and Lower Buckeye Road. And this is our own Chris Grow gearing up for a live shot outside the scene. He's been on scene all morning. Initially spoke about the police presence that you can still see so heavily. A lot of the comments are how devastating this is and how heartbroken people are, and we absolutely agree. And thank you to everyone that has said something in the comments for the parents, your kind words. But this has been a horrible, horrible morning for this family in Avondale. We are waiting for Chris to go live, so if anybody's waiting to hear from him, it'll be any minute now. You can see him talking to producers. He's going to have an update for you from the scene.
Yeah, Justin and Danielle, we just heard an emotional outburst from family after they got the news from detectives that was later confirmed to us. Like you just said, this 5-year-old boy has passed. He has died after a gunshot wound that they're still investigating right now, but they're saying that earlier reports are that it appears to be accidental, self-inflicted. Now, there's still a lot to be determined right now. Detectives have just arrived on scene. We're seeing a lot of plainclothes officers kind of get into this apartment complex right now. There's still family both inside the scene and outside the scene. So the investigation behind all of this is just getting started really for today. We expect this to go on for about a couple hours, but what we can tell you again right now is that the latest update is that that 5-year-old boy has died after suffering from what Avondale police are calling an accidental self-inflicted gunshot wound, or that is at least what the early investigation is showing right now. We are expecting some more updates from Avondale police throughout today on this story, so we'll continue to update you as they come in. But for now, we're going to send it back to you guys in studio. Thank you.